Chosen one, you just annihilated a mind-altering spell meant to engineer sadness and desperation, and the shift is already sealed. While you rested, an attempt to cage your thoughts collapsed on contact. No struggle, no awareness. Your field rejected it cleanly, like stone turning rain aside. The war ended before you knew it began, and the verdict is final without appeal forever. Spiritual law operates with clear rules. Non-negotiable boundaries exist about how one consciousness can affect another. These are not suggestions. These are not guidelines you can bend if you are skilled enough. These are laws that get enforced by forces that do not care about your feelings or your justifications. The person who came at you needed something physical to make their spell work. They needed a hair from your brush. They needed a tissue you discarded. They needed something from your trash that was carrying your essence, your energy signature. They needed this because you are too powerful to attack directly anymore. Your defenses are too strong. Your frequency is too high. They needed a backdoor, a taglock, a piece of you that had been thrown away without expectation of return. But to use these items, they needed permission, not from you necessarily. They needed permission from whatever force governs these exchanges, from the entity they serve, from the universe itself. So they made their petition. They presented their case in ritual. The answer came back as clear as crystal. Permission was denied. They cannot proceed. This will cause devastating harm to the practitioner if they attempt it anyway. They asked why. The entity they serve told them something crucial. This person is protected. This person has done work that creates automatic deflection. This person operates at a frequency where curse work simply returns to sender. Do not proceed. This is not a fight you can win, but jealousy makes people deaf to wisdom. Desperation makes them think rules do not apply to them, so they went looking for your discarded items anyway. Perhaps they made a trip to where your trash ends up. Perhaps they asked someone who works there for access to what you had thrown away. Perhaps they convinced themselves that if you had discarded it, the item was freely given, but intent matters in spiritual law. When someone takes something with malicious purpose, it is not freely given. The energetic signature knows this. The universe knows this. Using it anyway activates consequences that cannot be negotiated or apologized away. The moment they incorporated your hair or tissue or whatever they found into their working, they sealed their fate. The moment they sent that spell toward you with intention to create sadness and desperation, they triggered a reversal so fast it would make your head spin. Every ounce of darkness they meant for you ricocheted back, amplified. The sadness they crafted took root in their own heart. The desperation they designed became their reality. The confusion they intended for your mind flooded theirs instead. But something exists brewing beneath the surface that explains why they took such a desperate risk. Something connects directly to someone you used to love. Someone from your past cannot stop thinking about you. An old flame, your ex who walked away thinking something better, had been found. Someone you shared real connection with before everything got complicated. Recently, something happened that changed everything for this person. They found proof. They discovered evidence that could no longer be denied. The person your ex has been with was not loving them. Your ex was being used. That realization cracked something open inside them. Your ex has been trapped in a relationship that looks passionate from the outside, but feels empty on the inside. Hot and cold cycles repeat endlessly. Explosive arguments get followed by intense make-up sessions. The pattern kept repeating until it became their new normal. Your ex kept convincing themselves this was just how real relationships work. That intensity means depth. That drama equals passion. But something always felt off. Something they could not quite name. Then the discovery happened. Maybe they found a letter. Maybe they overheard a conversation they were not supposed to hear. Maybe they saw records showing money moving in ways that made no sense. Proof emerged that the person your ex had been defending to friends, sacrificing for, building a life with, was only in it for financial gain, Not love, not authentic connection, just access to resources and stability someone did not want to earn honestly. That discovery did not just hurt them. Something in their brain got rewired. They started questioning everything. They started remembering what authentic connection actually feels like. They started thinking about you, not in some casual nostalgic way, in a real present, considering reaching out kind of way. Memories are surfacing of how you made them feel, the safety, the genuine care, the difference between someone who wants you and someone who wants what you have. And the person your ex is with can feel it happening. They can sense the energetic shift taking place. They can tell that your ex's thoughts are drifting away towards someone from the past. This is what triggered the attack on you, not random jealousy, strategic desperation. If your ex is starting to remember what real love looks like, if they are comparing their current situation to what they had with you, if they are thinking about reconnection, then you need to be neutralized in their mind, made unavailable, trapped in such sadness that you are not even an option anymore. If this message speaks to your soul, hype this video so other chosen ones can discover it. The person your ex has been with is not just manipulating them emotionally and financially. Energetic feeding has been happening. This person has attached to your ex like a parasite. This person has been draining their life force, and through your ex, through the energetic cord that still existed between you two from your past relationship, this person was also trying to feed off you. Your former partner was being used as a bridge to access your light. You probably felt it sometimes. Sudden exhaustion would hit you. Energy crashes made no sense. Some mornings you woke up feeling drained despite sleeping well. That was the pulling happening. That was the siphoning occurring through your ex-spy. That was someone sustaining themselves on your brightness because they cannot generate their own light. A black hole in human form exists here, always taking and never filling up because they refuse to do the inner work that creates sustainable energy. But then you did something powerful. Maybe you did it consciously through meditation or energy work. Maybe you did it unconsciously through simply committing to yourself so deeply that old connections could not hold anymore. You cut that cord. You severed the energetic bridge. You took your light back. And suddenly, their backdoor food source was gone. The steady drip of stolen energy stopped completely. That is when the panic set in for them. Understanding what you have actually built without fully realizing it becomes crucial now. Inner work has been happening in your life. Not the Instagram version where people post quotes about self-love and claim they are healing. The real work, the uncomfortable work, the shadow work that makes you face parts of yourself you would rather ignore. You have been healing your inner child. You have been setting boundaries that actually mean something. You have been choosing yourself even when it disappoints others. You have been sitting with uncomfortable emotions instead of numbing them. You have been forgiving yourself for past versions who did not know better. You have been building genuine self-worth from the inside out, instead of seeking validation from external sources. All of this work created something powerful in your energy field. A shield, a fortress, a frequency so high that low vibration attacks simply cannot reach you anymore. Your solar plexus is glowing right now. That is your power center, your confidence, your will, your authentic self-worth radiates from there. When it is strong and clear and activated, it radiates outward, creating a field that darker energies cannot cross. Think of it like sunlight. Try bringing darkness into bright sunlight. The darkness disappears. It cannot exist in that frequency. That is what your work has done for you. You have become your own sun. The person who attacked you was operating from such a low frequency that they could not even perceive your actual power level. They saw your kindness and mistook it for weakness. They saw your peace and interpreted it as being unprotected. They saw your light and assumed it would be easy to snuff out. They had no idea they were trying to attack a fortress while armed with nothing but a water pistol. When their spell hit your energy field, it encountered something they had not planned for, pure gold. That is the frequency of your solar plexus right now. That is the vibration of someone who has done so much inner work that divine law provides natural protection. Their darkness hit your gold and could not find any purchase. It was like trying to grip smoke, like trying to chain wind, like trying to capture sunlight in a jar and keep it there. But your protection did not just come from your inner work alone. Something else is playing a major role here, something bigger than you, something that has been watching over you long before this attack ever happened. You are not just protected by your own energy field. Forces this practitioner never even considered are backing you up. Your ancestors, your spirit guides, the divine intelligence that has been guiding your path since before you were born. These are not passive observers sitting on the sidelines. They take active participation in your protection. When someone violates spiritual law to attack you, they activate defense levels that would terrify anyone who could actually see them operating. The moment this practitioner sent their spell toward you, alarms went off in the spiritual realm. Not metaphorical alarms. Actual energetic disturbances got triggered that caught the attention of beings who do not take kindly to chosen ones being attacked. Your ancestors stepped in immediately. Your guides reinforced your field instantly. The universe itself adjusted to ensure that spell never found its mark. This is what happens when you are living in alignment with your purpose, when you are doing the work you were sent here to do. Protection becomes automatic. Your ex is starting to sense this difference between you and their current partner. They cannot articulate it yet, but they are definitely feeling it. The contrast between the heavy, draining energy of their current relationship and the memory of lightness they felt with you is becoming impossible to ignore. They are beginning to understand that not all connections are created equal, that some people lift you up and others drain you dry. That authentic love feels completely different than manipulative attachment. This awareness is growing stronger in them every single day, and it is driving the practitioner absolutely insane with jealousy. They can feel their control slipping away. They can sense your ex waking up to the truth. They can tell that comparison is happening in your ex's mind, and they are coming up severely short. So escalation in every possible way is happening now. The spell on you was just one tactic in their desperate playbook. They are also working on your social circle actively. They are trying to poison people's perceptions of you. They are planting seeds of doubt in mutual connections. They are creating whisper campaigns specifically designed to isolate you from your support system. But here is what they keep missing in their desperation. Truth carries a frequency that lies simply cannot match. You do not have to defend yourself against false narratives. Your energy speaks for itself loudly and clearly. Your actions over time have created a track record that cannot be erased by someone's desperate gossip. People who truly know you will feel the discord between what they are being told and what they have personally experienced with you. The ones worth keeping in your life will come to you directly with questions. The ones who believe rumors without checking in with you were never really your people anyway. Getting specific about what this spell was actually designed to do becomes important now, because understanding the mechanics will show you just how thoroughly you crushed it. This was not some vague attempt to make you feel sad in a general way. Specific aspects of your consciousness were being targeted with what they believed was surgical precision. Turns out they were attempting surgery with a butter knife on someone wearing full titanium armor. The first target was your crown center. That is where you receive divine downloads, where inspiration flows into you, where you connect to higher guidance. They wanted to sever that connection completely. They wanted to make you feel spiritually abandoned. They wanted to make you question whether you ever had real intuition or if you had been fooling yourself all along. They wanted you to feel like the universe had turned its back on you completely, like your prayers were going unanswered, like you were stumbling through darkness with absolutely no light to guide you forward. That is where the sadness was supposed to take root first. in spiritual isolation, in feeling completely disconnected from Source, in believing you were utterly alone in a cold, indifferent universe. Because when you lose connection to divine guidance, when you cannot hear your own intuition anymore, when you feel cosmically abandoned, that is exactly when desperation sets in hard. That is when you become vulnerable to manipulation. That is when you might reach for anything or anyone that offers even false comfort. But your crown center did not just resist their attack, it actively repelled it. Because you have been doing specific work to strengthen that connection. You have been meditating consistently. You have been practicing prayer. You have been sitting in silence regularly. You have been learning to discern true guidance from ego chatter. You have been building deep trust in your own inner knowing. Your crown is so clear, so open, so actively connected right now that their attempt to sever it was like trying to cut sunlight with scissors. Impossible, absurd, destined to fail before it even began. The second target was your third eye, your spiritual sight, your ability to see beyond surface appearances into deeper truth. They wanted to blind you energetically, not physically, but in terms of energy reading. They wanted you to lose the ability to read energy accurately, to sense deception, to perceive what is really happening beneath what people say or do. Because if you cannot see clearly, protecting yourself becomes nearly impossible, making good decisions becomes a shot in the dark. Telling who is trustworthy and who is wearing masks becomes guesswork. But again, their spell shattered on contact with you. Your third eye is not just open right now. It is razor sharp. It is well practiced. It has been honed through experiences where you learnt the hard way to trust what you see energetically more than what you hear verbally. You have developed the ability to perceive truth even when it comes wrapped in the most convincing lies. You can feel when someone's energy does not match their words. You notice incongruence immediately. You sense hidden agendas before they get revealed. This sight cannot be stolen or blocked by amateur curse work. The third target was your throat center, your ability to speak truth, to express yourself fully, to advocate for your own needs, to set boundaries verbally, to say no when you mean no, and yes when you mean yes. They wanted to silence you completely, not make you physically unable to speak, but fill you with so much self-doubt that you would censor yourself constantly. You would question whether your truth was even valid. You would wonder if speaking up would make you seem difficult or dramatic or too much to handle. But you have done such profound work on speaking your truth that their attack on your throat could not even make initial contact. You have been practicing saying hard things out loud. You have been setting boundaries that disappointed people, and you survived their disappointment. You have learned that your voice matters even when it shakes with fear, even when people do not like what you are saying, even when using your voice costs you relationships that were built entirely on your silence. Your throat is clear, your voice is strong. Nothing external can take that away from you now. The fourth target was your heart center. They wanted to close it down completely. They wanted to make you cynical about love. They wanted to convince you that authentic love does not actually exist, that everyone will eventually betray you, that opening your heart is just setting yourself up for inevitable pain. They wanted you so defended, so walled off, so convinced that real connection is not safe, that you would push away anyone who tried to get close to you, including your ex if they came back genuinely changed, including new opportunities for love that might be exactly what you have been asking the universe for. But your heart did not close down, it stayed open, not naively open, not without proper discernment, but open in a boundaried, wise way, open with clear standards, open while still being highly selective about who gets access to your most vulnerable parts. You have learned the crucial difference between being open-hearted and being a doormat, between being loving and being taken advantage of, between being generous with your energy and being completely depleted. Your heart is strong enough to stay soft. That is real power. That is what they could never touch. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something. But talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. The fifth and most important target was your solar plexus, your power center, your confidence, your sense of self-worth, your ability to take decisive action in your own life. This was meant to be the kill shot, the aspect of the spell that everything else was carefully designed to support. Because if they could successfully cut you off from divine guidance, if they could blind your spiritual sight, if they could silence your voice, if they could close your heart, then crushing your power center would be easy. You would already be broken, already defeated. The final blow would just formalize what had already happened to you. They wanted you to feel completely powerless, helpless, like nothing you did mattered at all, like trying was pointless because you would just fail anyway, like you were fundamentally inadequate and everyone around you could see it. They wanted to install such deep shame, such profound unworthiness, that you would accept whatever scraps of attention or affection came your way, because you would genuinely believe that is all you deserved from life. This is where the desperation would have reached its absolute peak in you. When you feel powerless to change your circumstances, when you believe you are inadequate at your core, when you are convinced you do not deserve anything better, that is when people make their most terrible decisions. That is when accepting abuse becomes normalized. That is when settling for relationships or jobs or life situations that slowly kill your spirit becomes your reality. That is when you stop being any kind of threat to anyone because you are too busy just trying to survive each day. But your solar plexus is pure golden light, glowing bright, radiating power that comes from genuinely knowing your worth at a soul level. Not arrogance, not ego, not performance for others. Real self-worth built on an unshakable foundation of self-knowledge and self-acceptance. You have looked directly at your flaws and loved yourself anyway. You have acknowledged your mistakes fully and forgiven yourself completely. You have recognized your strengths without diminishing them to make others comfortable. You know exactly who you are, and that knowing cannot be shaken by external forces. When their spell hit your solar plexus directly, it did not just bounce off harmlessly. It detonated on impact. It exploded backward with such tremendous force that it is still actively destroying the sender, because your power center is so strong, so clear, so absolutely grounded in unshakable truth that attempting to attack it was like trying to extinguish the sun itself with a garden hose. The sheer impossibility of it would actually be funny if the consequences for them were not so devastating. Understanding exactly how the reversal mechanism worked will show you the precise nature of your protection. When someone sends harmful energy toward another person, that energy carries the sender's unique signature embedded in it, their intention, their emotional state, their energetic fingerprint. It gets coded with who sent it and exactly why. This is actually a built-in safety feature of how energy fundamentally works. It ensures accountability cannot be avoided. When that harmful energy encounters someone who is protected the way you are protected, something very specific happens. Penetration cannot occur. An entry point cannot be found anywhere. The wounds or weaknesses it was specifically designed to exploit simply do not exist in you anymore. So the energy hovers for a moment, actively searching, probing desperately, looking for any crack, any opening, any vulnerability it can possibly use to gain access, and finding absolutely nothing. In that critical moment of finding nothing to attach to, the energy recognizes it has encountered an insurmountable obstacle. Moving forward is impossible, but dissipating is also not possible because it was sent with too much force, too much focused intention behind it. So it does the only thing it can possibly do. It follows its embedded signature back to the original source, like a homing missile that has lost its intended target and automatically returns to its launch point. Except now it has been fundamentally transformed by the failed attempt. Your golden frequency added something to their curse as it bounced off your field. Your light contaminated their darkness, not enough to purify it completely, just enough to make it highly unstable, dangerously volatile. When it reached back to the sender, it was carrying not just their original malicious intention, but also the powerful echo of your protection, the undeniable evidence of your spiritual strength, the proof that they attacked someone operating completely beyond their ability to harm. The sadness they tried to give you is now theirs, but it hits much worse than what they originally sent, because it gets compounded with crushing shame, with the knowledge that they brought this entirely on themselves, with the realization that they were explicitly warned and proceeded anyway, with the understanding that they violated sacred spiritual law for absolutely nothing. They did not accomplish their goal at all. They only succeeded in thoroughly destroying themselves. The desperation is hitting them in relentless waves. Financial desperation as their income sources dry up completely. Social desperation as people pull away from their increasingly heavy energy. Spiritual desperation as they lose access to abilities they once relied on confidently. Physical desperation as their body breaks down under the strain. Emotional desperation as they realize there is no quick fix available, no ritual they can perform to undo what they have done to themselves. They have to live through every single consequence. The confusion is perhaps the cruelest part of what they are experiencing. They cannot think clearly anymore about anything. Making good decisions has become impossible. They cannot tell what is real and what is paranoia. They cannot distinguish between actual threats and manifestations of their own guilt and fear. Their mind is trapped in the very prison they tried to build for you, and unlike you, they do not have the tools to escape it. They do not have the inner work foundation. They do not have the spiritual maturity. They are lost in their own darkness with no way out. Being very specific about what you actually did that created this level of protection becomes necessary now, because this was not luck, this was not some random accident, this was systematic, consistent work over an extended period of time, work that probably felt pointless sometimes, work where you could not see immediate results, work you kept doing anyway because you were genuinely committed to becoming the healthiest version of yourself possible. You faced your shadow directly. That means you looked squarely at the parts of yourself you are not proud of, the jealousy you have felt, the times you have been manipulative, the moments you have hurt other people, the patterns you have repeated despite knowing better. You did not just acknowledge these things superficially. You sat with them. You understood where they came from. You forgave yourself for being imperfectly human. You made different choices going forward. This created genuine wholeness in you. You grieved what genuinely needed to be grieved. The childhood you did not have, the parent who could not show up for you, the relationship that ended, the dreams that died, the versions of yourself you had to outgrow. You did not rush through this process. You did not try to positive think your way around legitimate pain. You let yourself feel it fully and completely. You honored the loss. You released what you had been holding. This created spaciousness inside you. You set boundaries that actually cost you relationships. You said no to family members. You walked away from friends who refused to respect your limits. You ended romantic situations that felt good sometimes but wrong more often. You chose your peace over people's comfort. You prioritized your well-being over being liked by everyone. You learned that not everyone deserves access to you. This created real safety. You stopped performing for others. You quit pretending to be smaller than you actually are. You quit dumbing yourself down. You quit hiding your gifts to make insecure people feel secure. You quit apologizing for taking up space in the world. You quit making yourself palatable to people who would never appreciate you anyway. You started showing up as your authentic self and trusting that the right people would love you for exactly that. This created genuine magnetism. You built a consistent spiritual practice. Whether meditation or prayer or journaling or time in nature, you created regular connection to something bigger than yourself. You made space for silence in your life. You learned to hear your own intuition clearly. You developed trust in your inner guidance. You stopped looking outside yourself for answers you already had within. You became your own authority. This created true sovereignty. All of this work, layered consistently over time, built the fortress that protected you from this attack. Each practice was a brick. Each choice was mortar. Each moment of choosing yourself was another layer of defense. You were not building it specifically to defend against curse work. You were building it to house your authentic self safely. The protection from external attack was just a powerful side benefit of becoming whole. Your golden energy, that solar plexus power radiating from your center, is so bright now that darkness cannot survive in your presence, not because you are actively fighting it, but because you are so full of light that there is simply no room for anything else. Maintaining this consciously is not even necessary. This is just who you are now. You have integrated it. You have embodied it. You have become it. The practitioner who attacked you is learning a lesson they will never forget. You cannot attack chosen ones and walk away unscathed. You cannot violate spiritual law without facing consequences. You cannot work against someone who is protected by forces far bigger than your manipulation. They thought they were powerful. They discovered that power has levels they did not even know existed. Your ex is going to have to decide if they have grown enough to match where you are now, if they can show up as a whole person, ready to build authentic connection, if they are willing to do the work required to earn back trust. They broke. That is not your decision to make for them. That is theirs alone. Your only job is holding your standards and trusting yourself to recognize genuine transformation versus pretty words. The social manipulation will continue for a while, but it is already failing. Truth is revealing itself naturally. People who matter are seeing clearly. Connections that are not authentic are falling away to make room for ones that are. You are being refined, pruned, prepared for the next level of your journey. And that preparation sometimes looks like loss before it reveals itself as gain. Everything they tried to take from you is being returned to you multiplied. The sadness they wanted to plant in you is blooming as joy in your life. The desperation they tried to create is manifesting as rock-solid certainty about your path. The confusion they meant for your mind has become crystal clarity about who you are and what you truly deserve. Their attack became your upgrade. You annihilated a mind-altering spell without even consciously trying. That is not something to take lightly. That is evidence of profound spiritual evolution. That is proof that you are operating at frequencies where manipulation is completely irrelevant. That is confirmation that everything you have been building within yourself is real and solid and absolutely unshakable. Attacks will come again, because that is what happens when chosen ones step fully into their light. But now you know. You have seen the evidence with your own eyes. You understand that your protection is not theoretical anymore. It is proven. It is real. It has been tested under fire and held strong. Every challenge that comes will only make you stronger. Every attack will fail more spectacularly than the last. Every attempt to dim you will make you shine brighter than before. You are protected by forces this practitioner never even considered. You are backed by ancestors who celebrate your growth. You are guided by divine intelligence that has been steering your path since before you were born. You are powerful in ways that cannot be stolen or diminished or controlled by anyone. You are precisely who you were meant to become. The sadness and desperation they tried to plant became flowers in your garden instead. Beautiful, resilient flowers that bloom regardless of weather or season. That is your magic. That is your power. That is the truth of what you have become. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can dim it. Nobody can trap what was always meant to fly free. You just annihilated a mind-altering spell that was supposed to create sadness and desperation in your life. You did it effortlessly. You did it unconsciously. You did it by being so aligned with your authentic power that darkness simply could not find purchase anywhere in your field. That is mastery. That is sovereignty. That is the crown you wear now, whether anyone else can see it or not. Welcome to your new frequency. Welcome to your earned power. Welcome to the life you built by refusing to stay broken. The best is yet to come, and you are finally ready to receive